and in fact that is going to lead to stable and because the only aim that we have is to give. So may I request others to please mute the mic. So so this what I was saying, that if grid becomes robust, obviously with this aim, because sole goal of electrical system is to give customer the quality power. I mean, present day scenario of power system is something like this: that you have immense pressure of uh, uh, to meet the increasing energy demand, which is from linear as well as non-linear loads. As we all know, that as more electronic loads are being added into the system, they are posing more challenge for the grid stability. So the existing power system is definitely under immense pressure, and most of the power that is being generated today is from the conventional sources of energy. If you talk about our own country, we have approximately 65% is still being produced from thermal, right? Some of them, and then rest all from hydro, and there is very little penetration from the renewable energy side. Uh, Seeing this and a lot of debate happening about pollution, challenges of maintaining conventional sources of energy because fossil fuels are depleting. So not only the country, not only our country, but the governments from across the globe are focusing on energy production using non-conventional sources of energy. Uh, I mean, but we cannot, being uh, intermittency in the generation, we cannot 100% rely on uh, renewable sources of energy. So to get rid of fossil fuels, we can go to certain extent. We can increase that percentage share through renewable sources of energy, but we cannot 100% get rid of fossil fuel based power plant because they are more reliable, right? Probably say 20, 25 years down the line, we may have such technology which will have perfect prediction, perfect forecasting of renewable sources of energy, and then later electrical power. We may think of a lesser share from fossil fuel based power plants, but today in 5 to 10 years of scenario, we don't see anything of that sort happening where 100% renewable sources of energy taking over. So power engineers have a lot of challenges to exploit available sources of energy with maximum possible efficiency, right? Efficiency is one thing. Another thing is integration of non-conventional sources of energy. So when I say integration, the one thing that comes in my mind, that when I integrate solar with the grid, or when I integrate wind with the grid, or fuel cell or biogas based power plants into the grid, you will have an interface which is power electronics interface, correct? So you have really major challenges in that particular domain, right? So overall power generation system that we see, the prime objectives are mainly three: that it has to be economical. We understand that sources of if we get power from renewable sources, that is for free if you leave capital investment aside. Yes, it is more reliable if you talk about conventional sources of energy, but yes, this doesn't get satisfied when we when we talk about renewable sources of energy. Good quality of power supply is achievable at a lesser cost from conventional sources of energy, but not from the non-conventional sources of energy. So if you see, uh, keeping all these things in mind, In 2003, the government of India passed this act of uh, Electricity Act in 2003. Uh, After that, uh, I mean, earlier we had this model of vertical integrated units. Now, what is vertical integrated? You had only one company, which is state electricity boards. Now, when we talk about present day scenario, we have discos, distribution companies, we have transmission companies, we have generation companies, right? Gencos, transcos, and discos in almost all the states in the current scenario. So when I say you had earlier state electricity board, nobody was responsible. I mean, whole board was ultimately seeing economically that how much money earned. But whether the fault or the flaw is at the generation end or at the transmission end or the distribution, it was very difficult to identify. Even if it was identified, the responsibility was simply being shifted from another partner to another partner. So it was not actually working as it had earlier planned. So after that act, uh, competition was brought in after deregularization. So generation uh, part went to a independent company, and that is called generation company. Transmission went to another company, that is called transmission company. Similarly, different distribution companies in a state exists. You have many distribution companies. You have one most of in most of the states we have one transmission company and one generation company, and all the three are still being monitored by independent system operator. So that control is still with the government. But in order to bring in competition and fix responsibility of the losses, uh, these formation or these restructuring was done, and it has been very successful, uh, as it has brought competition. It has ultimately customer getting satisfied. uh, so uh, so when I say distribution companies, since you have distribution companies, except transmission, privatization was also brought in. I mean, licenses were also given to private players in distribution and generation, not in transmission, but generation and distribution. So in generation, if you see, if you see a lot of Reliance Power, you see Adani Power, you see Lanco Power. So a lot of private players have uh, established, they established the power plants and started producing power. And since they were using very recent and advanced technology in this sector, uh, they brought actual competition to the government managed power companies. So, I mean, to actually live up to the expectation of the customer, government companies also enhanced their uh, basically the technology. They, in fact, overall management of operation was uh, reached to actually was enhanced and reached to a level which is giving a fierce competition to private players. Distribution companies also, so when this has happened, distribution companies were free to buy power from any of the generation company, whoever is giving cheaper power. So since this broad competition, this actually helped the overall state as well as country as a whole. So then further enhancements were done. Focus was on, I'll just tell you. So focus was on same goal, that customers should get economical and reliable power supply, along with uh, this along with quality test, right? I mean, a good quality power in the economical and reliable mode should be supplied to the customer. So then gradually things picked up, and today we can proudly say that most of the states have got to this deregulated structure and have been working fine. Though there are many challenges as countries' population and area too large, but yes, things are going in the right direction, and probably we will have power access to all in time to come. Then again, new things started coming up. That is called smart grid technologies. So smart grid technology is nothing but it's a buzzword nowadays. If people talking about it has become a very fancy word. But basically, it is nothing but bringing more automation, more responsibility, two-way communication, making it more reliable, robust, resilient uh, system is smart grid, and this can be achieved. In fact, this the focus was on. So this could be achieved by bringing internet, by bringing communication, ICT, information communication technologies in the electrical power system domain, right? So basically, this is the basic difference between the two grids. Earlier, if you, some of you definitely remember that these are the phone which we in our times used to have, but today people have smartphones. So this is the difference between, this is the grid which earlier used to exist. Now things are becoming more smarter, and grid is moving in this smart grid domain, right? So today, so the purpose is still same. You see the purpose, why is this presented here? The purpose is still same. You have still getting the same voice received with the same, you're talking to the same person, but you have more facilities here. You can do many things using this smartphone, which was not possible at that time. That was a little slow. You had issues talking to other states, to other countries. But today you just give, press a simple touch a screen and get connected to anyone. So this is the basic difference. So if I broadly classify, I mean, if you see the overall smart grid architecture, so our smart grid is brought in. So when I say grid is becoming smart, so grid consisting of generation, grid consisting of transmission and distribution. So when I say grid is uh, becoming smarter, I mean generation also has to be smarter, transmission also has to be smarter. On the other side, distribution also has to be smarter. So all the three verticals have to be uh, uh, integrated with latest and advanced information communication technologies, right? So generation, when I say generation becoming smart, so smart generating units should come in. So what are the smart generating units? Where you don't have any, you get power but you don't have to pay money. So what I mean is, you see more renewable sources of energy start getting integrated into it. So today, I mean, you will be very surprised to know that I was just reading 2 days back, Siemens is working on one of the windmills, which single windmill is capable to generate 15 megawatts of power, right? So you see how much advancement has happened. We, the mills that we have around us, I mean, you talk about, if you talk about Tamil Nadu, I mean, the coastal region of Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, or you talk about the this far northern and the north part of Rajasthan, where you have windmills in Jaisalmer region. So, but all of them are of I mean, limited power capacity, varying from a few kilowatts to 3 to 4 megawatts. But see, the impetus is given to enhance the capacity of one single windmill. So, so if you see, when we have one single wind 15, I mean, say 10 such is almost 150 megawatt. You can assume such a large 10 mills itself are sufficient for a big metro city. So this is the way the generation sector or generation vertical is becoming, making itself smarter, right? Overall cost of the electrical power will also be reduced. Second comes to the transmission, where enough research being done on making uh, a monitoring, operation and control more robust, right? So wide area monitoring, I mean, earlier there was absolutely no monitoring a long back, but after that 2012, July 2012 blackout, the government of India and Ministry of Power became very serious about it and started placing phasor measurement units to have actual measurement, which is linked with one single uniform clock, where you have all the values at all the important critical buses accurately measured. What are those values? I mean, you know that you have delta, I mean power angle, you have correct frequency, rate of change of frequency, voltage, and power flow. These are the things which can easily be monitored, controlled, and then later a smooth operation is facilitated. So grid automation has happened. Apart from installation of PMUs, the I'm talking about our country, where we have I mean what we have gone to. If you talk about PMUs, earlier developed countries already had this in place and was working fine. Therefore, we always used to hear that the developed countries, there is hardly any power shutdown, or they have enough power. The use of per capita use of power is more, despite there is no power shortage. So they already had a few things in place which was being which was actually missing in our country. So apart from this PMUs, phasor measurement units, to get the accurate data, uh, uh, we are also enhancing transmission capacities by installing, I mean, reduction of transmission losses. I mean, today it is approximately 18 to 20%. If even 1% is brought down, it makes huge difference. So transmission losses, so efforts have been made by bringing transmission losses to an acceptable range. So how was that done? So high voltage DC transmission, HVDC was placed. So more high voltage transmission lines are there. Then extra high voltage and then ultra high voltage transmission lines are also being built. So today 765 kV is the highest AC, extra high voltage AC transmission value, but uh, the government of India is also almost one pilot project working with 1200 kV, 1200 kV of electrical power transmission. So that is going to be the highest transmission voltage in time to come. So that all those things have happened. Apart from this, substation. So substation means uh, advancement in substations in terms of advanced SCADA, uh, new substations. I mean, gas insulated substations, where you have very compact substations, because when you install a substation in a city, you don't have that space, right? So you have to have a compact substation. So gas insulated substations, which almost takes 1/10 of the place or the area as compared to others. So they are also happening, right? You have smart switches and uh, automation at the distribution level already. in place. So that is the smartness which has been brought in this smart grid scenario. But if you see carefully this diagram, you see a telecommunication link. So all of them are so well interconnected that overall management by a central unit is easily possible, right? Similarly, a lot of changes have happened in commercial, industrial, and residential loads, right? So we have most of the houses now have smart meters in some large cities, but yes, the meters that we also have are smart in the sense that there is no manual intervention. Remotely, the values are taken. We are being continuously monitored. There is no theft at this stage. Yes, still there are a few challenges which are to be handled, but yes, with the process of the passage of time, probably that will also be solved. So new loads that I'm talking about is more non-linear loads, as you have renewable sources of getting energy integrated into it. People are also thinking of, I mean, at a larger level and a smaller level, the energy storage options, right? So government, I mean, in Delhi distribution company, the Tata Power, who is handling one part of this Delhi, they also have they built up a 10 megawatt energy storage facility, right, in Delhi. So when that 10 megawatt is good enough to give short-term active power support whenever there is crunch. So these are the things which are happening, right? Smart buildings is fine. You have solar panels mounted on all the buildings which are more energy efficient. The major challenge that, though it's a very large and detailed topic, but I'm going to focus on one of the major challenge which is also very relevant to the research point of view, as well as from your own study and experience. You can actually march into various directions only from that particular load. So before we go and talk about that particular load, this is another focus, another focus of the smart grid technologies, where why do you have a larger grid? Why can't we have a smaller grid? I mean, if you just take example of your own college, if you see that what I've seen on the, I mean, internet, you have a campus which is located at the prime location, but you also have, if suppose that campus is made in such a way that it becomes an energy efficient campus, in the sense you have sufficient storage, you have sufficient solar power, and you have better energy management. So, I mean, integrating solar is one easier thing. You need not to have windmill in your own campus. You can have windmill on any other part of the country. That would be that equivalent power will be fed into the grid, and you can consume. So this is one of the ways by which you can make your uh, campus fully energy independent. Though that looks pretty impractical in present scenario, but to some extent, the
Excuse me,
effort.
sir.
Yes, yes, madam.
Sorry to disturb you, sir, but PPT is not visible. Somebody else has tried to share the screen, so it's please share the screen,
Okay,
sir.
okay, okay. So that I did not know. So the PPTs are not visible now. Uh, okay, I'll try again.
Sir, PPT not visible, sir.
Right, right. Uh, is this visible now?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, visible, sir.
Okay. So I'm talking about another focus of smart grid is to make smaller, as I was just giving example of your college. Why don't you make your college independent, energy independent? So you have this kind of a structure where you have perfect energy management system. You have solar input, you have energy storage, you have wind power, not on the campus but anywhere else in the state, and that will be fed to the state grid, and equivalent amount of power can be fetched from your college. But I said it is practically impossible, so we always have to have this interconnection, where this is the conventional grid which has to remain connected to this smaller grid which is known as microgrid. Right. So the challenges of microgrid is again the same, because you have different type of loads getting interconnected. Another challenge is, you, as I say, you can make your college independent or a microgrid, but since you have no actual forecasting done of the weather, you cannot rely on solar, right? Unless you have made huge investment on the storage. Similarly, on energy market are other things which are in any way beneficial for the market, microgrid scenario to exist. And its integration with other microgrids is another option for the research. So if you talk about research, forecasting is one area where a lot of emphasis being given. Energy markets, new energy market structure from 1st June has also come up, where you can have so in time to come, energy is may I request others to please mute the mic? Okay, thank you. So may I request participants to please mute their mic? Okay. So this energy market, weather forecasting, integration of a microgrid with other microgrid, so that if you have surplus power, you can sell it to them. This way, overall burden on these conventional power plants would go down. I am still saying that you have to have a connection made, or that has to be there, but overall burden can be reduced. So these are another, I mean, domain areas where you can focus. That load that I'm talking about, why am I talking about all this? Because I've been working uh, on various government of India's project on this particular aspect. It's not only one aspect which is being discussed or worked by our research group, but this is just I'm explaining one part of it. So electrical vehicle, I mean, whenever you read newspaper, at least you will have one news on electrical vehicle nowadays. So electrical vehicle is a promising solution. Why I say, if you see electrical vehicle as simple that it is ultimately going to, or it's ultimately substituting your gasoline based vehicle. No, it is not only that idea, but why it's being focused in our country all, I mean, that also should be known. See, we have a lot of pressure. We ultimately have to import oils from the different countries. So huge amount of money goes into it. So if we shift our focus to electrical vehicles, we obviously our the country's dependence on I mean our dependence on petrol will go down, right?
As,
So
sir,
this is
excuse me. Share your slide, sir. Slide not there.
so slide is there. I mean, I am able to see. I don't know why what is happening.
No, sir. Actually, you have to mute your video.
So video is not there. I don't know.
No, sir.
Just a
Mute
minute.
your video.
Mhm.
Then only the slide will be shared.
Okay. Okay. Just let me know if this is visible in this case now. Is it visible now?
It's
Hi, yes, sir. It is visible.
now it's
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Earlier it was not visible. I mean, I don't know.
Only for 2 seconds. That's otherwise no problem.
That's okay. Fine. Uh, so why I'm saying electrical vehicle a promising solution? Obviously, overall consumption on the fossil fuel will go down. Pollution will also be addressed. But we also have to see other aspect of it. Uh, we also have to see the benefit of electrical vehicle. Benefit of electrical vehicle means we have to see. Uh, uh, so benefit of electrical vehicle means if you see electrical vehicle as an storage option, right? So you have multiple. I show you the correct picture here. Electrical vehicle should be seen as a source, not only as a load. Right? One electrical vehicle battery, it costs around. I mean, it ranges in terms of power. It is in the range of say 20 to 30 kilowatt. So if you terms in terms of energy, I would say it is 30 kilowatt hour, right? So if you see, you have 1,000 cars parked in the basement parking of a large mall. Can you assume how much power is stored there, right? So 30 kilowatt into 1,000. So almost equivalent to a large power. So why do we not see electrical vehicle from a different angle, where electrical vehicle itself is going to be a source of generation. So electrical vehicle as a source will have these advantages: vehicle to vehicle, you will have vehicle to home, you will have vehicle to load, and you will have vehicle to grid. A larger network which is formed can supply to grid. I mean, if 100 cars are ready to discharge the power, right? Obviously, the power rate, right here, why I'm saying smart charging, which was the first caption and I did not speak about, because I want you, because to understand one thing, when I say vehicle to load, vehicle to home, then how is I'm getting it charged from my home and supplying it back to home? That's all right. In case of emergency, it works fine. But how is this going to benefit me? So smart charging means if I have solar charging, right, or charging from renewable sources of energy, or charging when uh, there are when the rate of electrical power is low, right? So these all are the things which are possible in time to come. So smart charging means it's solar based charging, and secondly, it is having that dynamic pricing aspect in place, where generally when you see the load curve, the night time you do not have enough load, right? So power requirement of overall load goes very down. So, but that power is still being produced or generated. So rate has to be brought down. So at the cheaper rate, I can get my vehicle charged. But when it comes to supplying it to grid at the time of peak load, or when it comes to supplying to a mall or a microgrid at the time of the peak load, I'll charge more, right? So these are the things which are being researched in the detailed manner, because uh, uh, because it's not only what I'm saying is it's not only I mean the things which will be implemented immediately, but this structure has to be developed. Then only electrical vehicle will be beneficial. Otherwise, if you see 100% cars replaced by electrical vehicles, we don't have that much power in the country being produced, right? Uh, so these are the things. Another thing is, I mean, this is not only the advantages of vehicle to grid, but I'm talking about vehicle to X, V2X. You don't have to buy inverter if you have electrical vehicle in your home, and that can supply in the time that it is off, right? Uh, so vehicle to grid has certain advantages. And what are the advantages? If you can quickly scan through, you will get to know about it. So the advantage that you have from the vehicle to grid aspects are, I mean, you will obviously reduce peak demand. Is the peak demand that will get reduced, but you will also contribute to enhance grid stability. This is only advantage of vehicle to grid. When I say So when I say vehicle to load, you have these advantages. It provides power to remote site, generator when outages, emergency power, right? Self-consumption. You have vehicle to edge. If you see this green line mark, you have it generates revenues, decrease investment in new power plants, obviously renewable energy storage. So vehicle to home has also advantages, and vehicle to vehicle is anyway advantageous. But there are various challenges exist in this technology to actually implement. Very small countries, particularly in Europe, if you take example of Denmark, few things have started. Mm, uh, I mean, started coming up where vehicle to grid, vehicle to home. I mean, these are the things which are feasible. But since a small country, lesser population, things are working fine as the government is planning. But if you take example of a larger country like ours, we have a lot of challenges and barriers. So the if you see the research gaps and novelty of idea, which I'll just tell you. So these are the things which, I mean, these are the challenges. How do you address you have challenges from market and regulation because there is no regulation as such. There are no technology developed as such. And how are you going to convince me will come in user engagement so that I can go and buy electrical power? So if you see this example, uh, this option which we have worked on, now it is also there in your city. What I'm talking about is battery swapping stations. So all electrical vehicles will ultimately have because 30% of the vehicle cost is cost of the vehicle. Sorry, cost of the battery. So if we don't have to buy that battery, obviously 30% cost comes around. So if we can get a model which is uh, feasible and works on a simpler principle. Uh, I mean, the way we have, if you say, the way we have our gas cylinders, we you don't have to actually own any gas cylinder. You just have to get this refilled and move on. Similarly, I'll go to just this is the presentation where you can understand what is BSS approach. So you have distributed energy resources feeding the battery sharing stations. So battery sharing stations will have say 100 or so or more than that or 1000 batteries, correct? But all the batteries getting charged from distributed energy resources, which are at some off place, right? Need not to be there in the location close by. Correct, but ultimately it's feeding to grid, and this battery sharing station or battery swapping station is taking power from them. Now, what will happen is the car comes, it will give its old batteries or discharge batteries through mobile app. It is going to pay money. The new batteries will come in. Once the money is paid, it will get replaced here, and then car goes on. So overall car cost reduces, and it's not only car cost reduced, but also this. Uh, I mean, things also become very smooth. This is one of the options which has to be made popular, since there are no firm guidelines to the manufacturer and to this direction. All the designs of the cars till date as per the manufacturer's requirement, right? We have not kept this option open in the existing vehicle, but if government comes up with a policy, this can be worked out. So we have been working on this projects of electrical vehicle, where I'll tell you, I mean, how is this going to benefit. So electrical vehicle supply equipment, you'll have a microgrid which has electrical vehicle supply equipment. Vehicle wants to supply power, yes or no, all information, how many vehicles and what time, what is the total amount of power will be adjusted here or will be visible here, then can be supplied to the grid. So if grid wants, it can supply to any microgrid or the larger grid. It is going to supply or help in peak power. It's going to supply in terms of base load. It is going to regulate. One of the major critical issues in the power system is regulation of frequency. So when I say regulation of frequency, uh, this is ultimately going to help, because short-term active power support can be given. Similarly, other ancillary services can also be catered. So, I mean, how do I see this as an earning member of your family? I mean, this electrical vehicle, don't see only as a load, but you see uh, as an earning member. There are various social impacts also that you have for this. Uh, so, I mean, ultimately, if you see from a broader uh, uh, view, I mean, there is no substitute of this right now. We have to go for electrical vehicles in order to support grid, in order to support overall environmental condition, in order to support the government, right? And that is ultimately going to promote the, that is though a larger statement, but it's going to help our country's economy. Huge amount of money going just to get fuel imported, right? So thank you very much. I have finished 10 minutes before, just to have more interaction, right? So thank you very much for giving a patient hearing.
Sir, thank you, sir. The questions, now the session will be question and answer.
Yes, yes.
The first question, it will be V2G. Do we need to take care about synchronization?
Yes, not as of now, but yes, as I said, in time to come, this is going to support, because vehicle to grid is not only one single vehicle which is supplying to grid. There is a fleet of vehicle which has accumulated power in terms of megawatt, and that will be supplied to grid at the time of grid's requirement. So this is going to support the grid in terms of maintaining grid's stability, and not grid's stability, but also, as you are also aware, that the Prime Minister of India has said once that one nation, one grid, one frequency. So if frequency is maintained constant, obviously the customer is going to get quality power. So quality power is focus, which can be addressed by V2G.
Okay. Sir, a second question. While we realize V2G and aggregator is used, which is
Yes,
responsible for synchronization?
right. Aggregator is responsible because aggregator will all information. See, uh, simple logic. Aggregator have will have information from each vehicle and will have information overall storage capacity that it has. So electric and aggregator will be communicating between storage option, vehicle owner, and the grid requirement or the grid operators. So if grid operators don't require power, there is no point selling at the lesser cost. So power will get be accumulated at some storage facility and later will be supplied or
Okay.
will be supplied to the grid so that more money is made and later it will be distributed to vehicle owners according in not only the monetary benefits but there could be other options like you will have rebate in the toll, you will have parking free, uh, and so on and so forth.
Okay. Sir, third question. Will V2G affect the power quality?
Yes. V2G, if you see vehicle as a load, obviously load, this is going to be a non-linear load. It's not going to be simple, straightforward linear RLC load. So this is going to affect the power quality. That is why I said you have challenges in maintaining power quality when I talk about V2G. Vehicle is supplying to grid means there will be so many conversion processes happening in between. So each conversion process will have to deal with all those typical issues of power electronics like harmonics and other power quality issues. So yes, power quality issues would be there.
Okay. Uh, can you explain the design of aggregator?
Yes, design of aggregator is pretty complex. See, aggregator is nothing but a high-end computing facility where which is in the real time will be communicating with is a real time in communicating with the grid requirement, grid operators, and will be communicating with vehicle owners, right?
Okay.
And will also have a large storage facility. So it will have multiple communication channels established, right? As and when a requirement arises, it has to make quick decision so that power is supplied. Alone vehicle owner cannot do anything without aggregators help.
Okay.
Yes.
Then, is there any standard of for EV battery size, shape?
No. There, yes. If you read the literature which exists today, there is a lot of debate on EV sizing. That is why I said this battery swapping model may or may not work in the current situation because battery size is different, battery shape is different, and battery located in the vehicle is also different. Since all the three things are different, what we can see that since all the three things are different, we cannot go for this battery swapping model now, right? So unless government comes up with a policy that it has to be the size and shape, you cannot I mean go for these new advanced technologies. So that is why I said more and more people start working on it. The government will also be getting ideas and will think in this direction.
Okay. Last question, sir. Kindly explain the concept of smart metering system and its modeling.
Yes, a smart metering system. So there are multiple ways how a smart metering is defined. I tell you, the meters that were which are there in our household now are also termed as smart meters because what they are saying when meter reader coming from a far end, he scans I mean, he doesn't come physically close to that meter, but remotely from a far distance, say 10, 15 meters, he's logging into some site and fetching all data from my meter. So this is what we call as smart meter. Another way of smart meter is you have prepaid meters in some part of Bangalore. In fact, in Rajasthan also we have got into this smart what is called prepaid meters. So I get my meter charged for 500 rupees. I will consume 500 rupees equivalent amount of power, and I'll have to get it recharged if I want to reuse. Otherwise, I'll keep it suspended until I get it recharged. So there are two different ways of looking at smart meters. So there is no fixed definition of a smart meter. How do you, see it is making it smarter? So smart metering is altogether a different domain where I have not worked much, but yes, but it'll be. I mean, I can supply some or provide some material if they wish.
Okay. Sir, how to reduce battery weight?
Battery weight reduction, no idea, but only material research is on, and a lot of efforts are being put in, because battery weight is also a major factor in overall efficiency of the vehicle. So battery weight is a major challenge. So these are the things which have not addressed as yet, but people from material research are working on it. So I cannot answer this question right.
Okay. Sir, which batteries have advantages? Lithium ion, etc.
See,
Gallium.
yes. So since lithium-ion battery has reached to a saturation level, so most of the vehicles. But if you talk about Tesla, they are going for a different technology altogether, right? So different storage options are being explored, but since lithium ion has reached to a stage, most of the vehicles which are there in the country, uh, the new cars which are coming up, are using this lithium ion battery. Even one of the projects that we are also handling in bits on electrical vehicles, uh, we are, in fact, we imported lithium ion batteries only. But yes, you have nickel cadmium and many other options being explored. But from the electrical vehicle point of view, they have not been tested commercially. Still at the research part, as far as I know.
Okay. Sir, what are the different places to charge the batteries in India?
Yes. So just for your information, this is a good relevant question in the sense. Why I'm saying this, Delhi to Chandigarh National Highway, Government of India established, I mean, couldn't, it's still happening, it will take some more time. So Government of India establishing charging platforms after every 50 kilometers or 25 kilometers. They are fast charging platforms, which is just to promote electrical vehicles. So if you go and buy electrical vehicle today, you will also have to think or create a facility in your own household for charging that vehicle, right? But again, there are many uh, standards in electrical vehicle charging. So when I will be sharing these slides with you, that is also one of the slides that I have. Various charging system, various charging ways. You have single wire, you have 4 wire, you have 5 wire. It's not only about RYB only, but you also have to see earthing and other factors. So that also will be shared.
Okay.
Today, you don't have any charging infrastructure in place in the country. We make use of only these existing power plugs.
Okay. Sir, another
And
question.
Mhm.
Sir, what are the different challenges available in BMS, battery management system?
Yeah, battery management system challenges are many. First of all, because the overall battery behavior is highly non-linear, battery management system is a real challenge. So the efforts are being on this thing also, battery management system, uh, in the sense that how should I tell uh, that the actual state of charge measurement is one thing, is one thing, and how much capacity it has. Right, it's not only state of charge, but how much capacity it has currently, so that it can pass on or in I mean how long the vehicle can go, right? So if I don't have a battery management system with the correct or accurate battery management system, I will not be able to, in fact, drive the vehicle uh, with certain confidence. So battery management system requires correct information of state of charge, and then it should also have. So what we are working on BMS, we recently, I mean, we procured existing BMS, but we are integrating it with. I mean, those who, I mean, who asked this question, if they are working on it, uh, they should think of integrating machine learning or some artificial intelligent algorithms in it, so that it can give the correct information to vehicle owner about the state of the battery, right? In not in terms of percentage, that it's much per percentage charge, right? How long it is going to go, right? How long you can go with this vehicle, at what speed you should operate. I mean, that has to be the integration if you really want BMS to be there in the car. So this is being worked out. I mean, we are also working on it. The existing BMS have conventional information.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you for your nice
So
presentation.
thank you very much. I mean, others can
Convey-
also email it to me if I could not address because
Sir,
of the
one,
time constraint. So thank
sir,
you
will
very
you,
much. I once again thank you, the organizers and the management of New Horizon College of Engineering, for giving me this opportunity. So thank you very
yes.
much. It was
Yes.
wonderful interacting with you. I
Okay, sir.
appreciate that people asked questions and are interested in
Thank you very much,
working
sir.
into it.
Thank you. You
Okay.
shared more
Thank you
knowledge
so much.
about smart grid, recent advances like
Right.
V2G, electric vehicle integration, etc., sir. It gives more knowledge to the participants, sir. The great initiation for this FDP. That is good lecture, sir. It is
Okay.
actually.
Thank you very much.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Myself and
Thank you
our
so much.
team is very lucky here for your presence, sir. Hearing your presence,
No,
sharing
that's it.
knowledge,
No, it's
etc.
it's always. I mean, that's what I said. Smart grid is always two-way communication.
Ah,
It's not only you who might have uh, gained, but in fact, I gained more because I got questions which also I got an idea of how should I go about it.
yes, sir.
So I get new ideas interacting with. So
Okay, sir.
thank you very much.
We can get
Thank
some
you.
Thank
feedback
you.
about from the participants also, sir. But dear participant, you can unmute your mic and give your feedback about this session. Anyone?
Okay. Thank you very much,
Uh,
ma'am.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Participants are informed. You will get the PowerPoint presentation as well as a recorded video to the your registered mail ID as mentioned in the feedback form. Okay, so by tomorrow at sharp by 9:50, the session will be start because due to technical reasons we are operating the session in the Google Meet. Okay, it will be allowed only 100 limitations, but anyway we are trying to make it in the Zoom ID also. Okay, so if you are unable to join, no issue. Okay, we will share the feedback as well as the recorded video once the session gets over. Okay, to your mail IDs as mentioned in the session 1 feedback. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Vinod sir. Hello Vinod. Hello Murli Murugan sir. You can anything you want to say means unmute your mic and say.
Yeah, ma'am. The session was very interesting, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, sir. You will get all PPT material and videos also, sir. Thank
Yeah,
you,
sure.
sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for your interest to join in this FTP, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Vinod, sir? Okay. சார் குட் மார்னிங் சார் ஓகே சார் இப்போ கிளாஸ் இருக்கா இப்போ கிளாஸ் இருக்காங்க சார் 11:10 ஆயிடுச்சு ஓகே சார் இப்போ நான் ஒரு 10 மினிட்ஸ் இந்த சாட் பாக்ஸ்லேயே இருக்கேன் சார் எல்லாம் இப்போவும் அட்மிட் ஆகுறாங்க வராங்க போகிறாங்க நான் உடனே என் பண்ணுறதா இப்போது 33 மெம்பர்ஸ் ஸ்டில் இருக்காங்க இல்லை சார் அவங்க வெயிட் பண்ணலாம் இல்லையா அது வரைக்கும் அவங்க ஃபில் பண்ணுற வரைக்கும் சார் ஓகே